Hello everyone, this is me, Dusty Circuit here. And, just a video that just kinda wasn't really planning on doing this, but because I just recently watched a video by Mumbo Jumbo about, like, what their opinions are about, like, about the recent, Minecraft updates, and what they define by recent is everything from caves and clips onto today. And well, that just kind of got me thinking about like kind of what my own thoughts are, and it's just a lot of them kind of I kind of have in common with Mumbo, but some of them are kind of unique to my own experience. As many of my viewers know, I've spent like the better part of the last like 6 years, 8 years, basically playing on exclusively on multiplayer servers. And multiplayer servers that cater to a rather tightly knit community. And well, as for the updates themselves, I have nothing really majorly bad to say, like, about them. Like caves and clips basically revolutionized, like, pretty much everything about the overworld, like in terms of how it generates, and how, and even some biomes got overhauled, and even a lot of older biomes got new names, which means some people may like, some people may not, but especially like, well, one thing I really have to say about it is also the amount of new farming mechanics that were added. Like it's now possible to generate bone meal using moss, which basically it's like you can make a stone generator or a cobble generator, and then basically moss will it's like it'll convert the stone into moss, and then that can be harvested and like composted into bone meal. I think is how that works. And as well as other farming mechanics like lava farming via dripstone, and like other blocks like the mud. I think that came in I forget what update that was in. I think it was 1.19. Like, that's farmable. And also shulker farming, which has made an item that's been in the game since 1.11. That was just really hard. That was used to be pretty difficult to get, at least difficult to get in quantity. Now actually possible to get in quantity. And there's just now more building blocks than you can shake a stick at. Like, I mean, pretty much, like, blocks is kind of like one of the, like, it's like blocks and mobs are like the seem to be the like central additions, like, for every, it's like every update pretty much aims to add some kind of block and some kind of mob to the game. And like with every single update, we get more and more blocks to build with. And for some people, for some people, it actually kind of ironically makes building harder because you have more choices. And while that may seem counterintuitive, it's like if you have more and more stuff to choose from, it might make it like harder to choose. I guess for more inexperienced builders, it might be harder to choose a theme and go with it, or it might be harder to. It's like when you have fewer block options, it's like you're kind of more or less like I don't think railroading is a good term, but I guess I'll use that for lack of a better word. Like you're just kind of forced into more or less a certain build style based on the blocks that you have available. But the more blocks there are in the game, the more possibilities there are, and maybe, I guess, depending on how experienced you are as a builder, it might be easier to come up with a build, or it might be harder, I guess, depending on how you look at things. And as far as the mobs that have been added to the game, this is just kind of by the very nature of my playstyle. I kind of don't really care so much about new mobs. Like, I mean, it's not that I don't. It's just like it's just kind of how the way I play the game. It's very much focused on building and redstone and farms. And I mean, outside of mob farming, like if there's a new mob to farm drops from or loot from, like I don't really see like much value in new mobs, but other people, but other people might more, especially those who just like really who just like cute new to see cute new creatures added to the game. But it does for what, but I can say, but one thing I can say is it does make our mob fights that we host on Midgard more interesting. It's like we have more mobs to kill and we have more heads to collect. And even though we kind of have some of our own custom mobs, we like the more mobs that get added to Minecraft, like I guess the more heads there are to collect and the more mobs there are to kill. And I guess while I'm on the subject of mobs, as far as the mob vote is concerned, I don't really, it's just my personal thing about it is, it's, so the way Mojang kind of, I guess, advertises it or promotes it is like, you have 3 different mobs to pick from, and each mob will bring, and it's like, it's not just about the mob, the new mob, it's also about what new mechanics that new mob will bring to the game. Like, for instance, I guess with the most recent mob vote, you had, like, I believe it was the armadillo, which is the one that won, that adds, I think will add new armor. And then the crab, which would add an item that you can use to extend your reach. And I forget what the third mob was, but I guess I'll edit it in, and as a description of it. But it's basically you get 3 different mobs to pick from, and with them 3 different new mechanics that come with those mobs. And it's like there can only be one, and the other 2 just won't get added. But in many cases, it's ended up with the mobs that didn't win end up getting added to the game later anyway. Though I guess Mojang never kept that a secret. It's just whichever mob is being voted for, just whichever mob wins gets added first, I guess. But there's just been a lot of controversy around the mob vote as of lately, and I just feel like some of it is overblown, but some of it is sort of justified. But I feel like, but a lot of people say, why vote? Why not just add all 3 mobs at the same time? But what those people don't understand is that Mojang are trying to avoid what's called feature creep, which is basically the ideology that in your update, you're making updates for a game, there's always the risk that if you add too many things, or at least too many things at once, the game will just get more bloated. It might impact the performance of the game, and it might affect the experience for those who would who rather the game be more simpler. Though another concerns about feature creep include development time, because there's more the more features you're trying to add, the longer it takes to develop said features. And also balancing, which is basically when you add another feature, it might affect how that new feature interacts with existing features, could affect the overall balance of the whole game. Or basically, things kind of so basically it's just they have to keep into consideration how adding a new feature affects the balance of affects how the balance of the rest of the game. And I personally feel like Mojang have done this, have done a great job with this, but it's just the only problem I see is just the community doesn't seem to understand this very well. They just see that they've added this feature, but they missed this opportunity to make it better, or they added this, but they forgot to add this. But the reality is they have to consider how every feature that they do decide to add to the game, they have to consider what the long-term impact of adding that feature will be. But thus far, I feel like they've kind of more or less nailed that balance perfectly. It's like we're getting just the right amount of new features to, just enough to keep the game interesting, but not too much as to make the game too bloated. Well, some people might have different opinions on that, but for me personally, I feel like they've done that balance more or less perfectly. And it's so. And I guess another thing to bring up is the quality of life changes. Like Mumbo brought up in their video, like there's this one change where if you're sprinting and you just slightly brush up against a wall, you no longer stop sprinting. I guess I never really paid much attention to that. I guess even though I've been playing this game for quite a long time. Because I mean, like, if you run directly into a wall, you stop. I mean, I guess if you were, I guess if you're sprinting and you just happen to slightly do, brush up against, this. Kind of like that. I guess I'm still sprinting there. But I guess I haven't really paid much attention to that, and thus I haven't really noticed that change. But that's, I guess that's the good, that is a good change they made, if that improves that. But one of the ones I definitely do appreciate is the light level, the minimum light level required for mob spawning. Which for basically most of Minecraft's lifetime has been 7. Which but them lowering it to 0 basically means it's easier to, initially I had concerns about that affecting mob farms, but then again, it's not that difficult to actually either remove torches or use blocks to stop exterior light from coming into your mob spawners or your mob spawning chambers. I mean, it does require modification. I guess it would require modification to some farm designs that previously worked, but I don't think it's really the end of the world. It's not like there's been a major change made to mob spawning that breaks, 95% of mob farm designs, and most mob farms now have to be totally redesigned. Especially as a long time Minecraft player, I do appreciate that change. No, I haven't. I'd say even today, I still haven't really. I mean, I still light up my builds as if the old limit was still in place, but I guess once I adjust to the new limits, once I fully adjust to the new light level limits, I am first definitely gonna appreciate them. Another thing I definitely appreciate is the increased build limit, though I kind of wish that would also apply for. I kind of wish that was also applied to the Nether and the End as well, because I plan on building. I still plan on building an End base, so I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But like, if we had the increased build limit in the End, that would allow me to more freedom in building that base. But oh well. I mean, like, I'm sure Mojang had their reasons to not add it to the End in the Nether, but who knows? Maybe sometime I might do a sky base that actually makes use of the increased limit. I guess another point I could address is the new structures that have been added, and also Mojang's kind of focus on the exploration side of the game, or I guess not really a focus, but just kind of a shift towards that area in terms of a lot of the additions to the game. But for me personally, like, just largely due to the nature of my playstyle, I'm not like that hot and bothered about exploration, because I tend to just kind of more or less stay in one area and just kind of build up in that area, as opposed to go out to new biomes and build in those biomes. Or at least on this world, at least on this particular server, I do. Is for the most part, most of my farms are still kind of connected to my main base. And just whatever farms I can't have at my main base, I just have in their own areas. Because like you can see here, like, this is the extent of my base as of right now. And as you can see, it's been getting quite a bit larger, though one part of it you can't really see from this view is this whole underground tunnel that actually goes to that giant room I put my diamond counter in. Well, I guess you could see it from this underground view. Yeah. So even like, so it's like, so even today, even today, I'm still pretty much just building in this area. And I kind of want to keep building here. I kind of want to keep expanding more. I just want to fill this whole ocean up with, up with underwater tunnels and domes and build like underwater buildings and stuff, and just kind of see what the end result's gonna be like. Like, I want this base to really... I want this base to really kind of flourish before, like, I kind of leave, I kind of move out and kind of start a new base somewhere else. Well, the only kind of problems I'm really running into now is this ocean. This side of the ocean, I don't really have a ton of new space to build. At least as far as underwater building is concerned. Just from my understanding, Brad now owns this area, and I think Abby was using this biome, this mesa over here for resources. But from what I can see, part of it got regenerated. And so it looks a little bit different now. But I still have all this area over here left to expand to. Though unfortunately, it seems to be littered with all these islands and all these ocean monuments. Because I don't want to divert from the subject, but it's I've just because of it's because I put a lot of investment and efforts into a base. Like, to me, a base is like a long-term investment. And a big project that takes like weeks of resource gathering and or sometimes months in some cases to actually complete. And to me, a base is never complete. That's like I'm always it's like it always evolves with the game. Like, yeah, like as the game gets updates, my base evolves with the game. And so kind of what I'm getting at here is just exploration. To me is just something. It's something I have to go out of my way to do. Like for instance, when the armor trims came out, I basically spent like a whole fly day literally just flying around the world trying to just get all of the armor trims. And at this point, I have every armor trim except for the ones that you have to get from the trail ruins. And basically, like, I'm not saying I hate exploration. Like, it's just kind of not really part of my playstyle. Though from time to time I do kind of enjoy exploring new biomes and seeing like if I ever come across a biome that looks like somewhere I might want to build sometime in the future. Though I don't want to get too of course I don't want to sound too harsh on Mojang, but it just seems like lately there's kind of been some changes and just with a lot of updates, it seems they've been kind of pushing more of the focus on exploration, like as it pertains to a lot of the newer editions. Like with the armor trims, you have to go to all the different structures to find them, and uh and one thing that was especially controversial, the changes to netherite armor. Like, you have to now get the smithing template for netherite armor, which you can only get from bastions in the nether. Though I feel like the ability to at least copy them with diamonds once you've found one of them is enough of a consolation that to make that change not like too bad. And if anything, I kind of like that change, because otherwise, like, for most people, once they get enough diamonds to pretty much provide them with a, for all intents and purposes, endless supply of armor and tools, there's really no point in getting more diamonds. So, I mean, another use for diamonds in the game is kind of always a good to me is a good thing, a good thing. And there have been kind of the other changes and some other things like the increased like the change to iron and gold ore generation, and also the change that they now drop they now have like an intermediate form. Like, when you mine them, they turn into raw ore, which also which also allows Fortune to work on iron ore to get you more of it. So it's like now possible to get more than one iron ingot per ore, which definitely has and that, and also the ore veins, which are more concentrated clusters of ore that have a chance of generating. Like, those definitely kind of make iron farms less of a requirement, at least for the average player. Of course, the technical player still would like an iron farm, but the average player doesn't. There's like no longer really a pressing need for the average player to go out of their way to make an iron farm. But I guess to kind of wrap up this video, I guess I'll get the controversial stuff out of the way. And really the only controversies that personally have a negative impact on me were the well, not that they really severely affected me, but at least when they were first added, it did cause me worry. And those were the chat reporting, the skin reporting, and the Microsoft accounts. Though back when we were in the old server, there was this time where I believe were actually a couple of Mojang employees, though I don't think they're Mojang employees anymore, actually came to the old server, like literally, because I think the owner basically, I guess there was this deal where I guess that I guess they got enough publicity that that the actual that some that the that said Mojang employees actually were able to make a were actually were able to be invited to the server to actually talk about with really the reason they came over was to kind of address concerns we at least with that community concerns about the whole Microsoft account migration. And really, and and even though I personally don't 100% agree with it, especially, I mean, the whole idea of like, I now have to have an account through probably one of the most powerful and not so nice companies in the world is does concern me, but it's from my understanding it was not Mojang's decision. I guess it was more if anything it was more forced on them, and it was just a matter of when they're going to do it. And though and while it did cause some concerns for me because I was using a third-party launcher, that being MultiMC at the time, and really my concern being, is MultiMC going to support Microsoft accounts? And well, if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to switch launchers before the time frame that you're allowed to migrate your account ends. And but luckily for me, that was never a problem. Like, it just seems like in the nick of time, MultiMC rolled out an update that supported the Microsoft accounts, and I was able to migrate my accounts. And while I had some hiccups with that initially, that really had me worried, but like I was in the end of able to sort that out, and I was able to continue using MultiMC at least until I made the switch to the Prism launcher. Though though definitely that visit with from the Mojang employees for sure kind of eased a lot of my concern. It eased some of my concerns about not only the accounts, but also the future of the Java edition of Minecraft. Though mind you, that what this was prior to the Caves and Cliffs update and all the stuff that's happened since then. But even then, I am pretty confident that this game is still going to have a long life left to come. Though, what doesn't help is the toxicity of the Minecraft community, and it's just Mojang are just in a really difficult spot. They're basically having to cater to probably one of the largest player bases out of the most broadest not only the largest, but also one of the most broadest player bases of probably any video game ever to exist. And it's like they have to, so it's whenever they're they're rolling updates out, they have to consider what the impact they're going to have on like the entire Minecraft community, and they have to weigh that before they roll out the updates. And I feel like it's just no matter how much feedback they accept and how much they consider the community when they roll out updates, there's just always going to be a group of people that are going to oppose the update in one way or another, just because the community is so large that there's just bound to be someone that's going to be upset no matter what they do. It's just kind of the reality of the situation. And as far as the chat reporting, I was for a moment I was kind of concerned about it, but then after that meeting that kind of we had that we had on Skade talking about it and how we're going to handle it, it's how like are we going to disable it, or are we just going to use it, or it's largely eased up most of my concerns, and like I'm not at all worried that one day I'm gonna lose my account. But what I am kind of worried about is what implications that's going to have on the broader Minecraft community. But I guess it's just a matter of just a matter of time, and how different parts of the community will be affected. And from my understanding, the chat reporting's not going to impact Skade at all, and if anything, the communities that will see the biggest impact of this will be the Minecraft Anarchy community. Like those servers that have no rules, and like griefing is allowed, and like profanity is allowed, and like adult topics, adult topics are allowed. It's kind of unfortunate, but I guess it's just kind of how it's. I guess it's just is what it is. And I guess we're just gonna have to. I guess those of us who are still gonna be playing this game will just have to live with that. But personally, it doesn't affect me because I'm in a community that I play in a community that already has a lot of rules. Had a lot of rules anyway, and from my understanding, already operates well within Mojang's rules. At least from the way I understand it. And well, if these rules do, if the chat reporting does reduce the amount of toxicity in the Minecraft community, well, I guess that's largely a good thing. but who knows if it's actually gonna put much of a dent in that. I guess only time will tell. I have a hunch it's probably not, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it's just, especially as of lately, I just tend to steer queer. It's like there's just been so much just toxicity and vulgarity just around, just within the Minecraft community, especially with all these changes. Like, even prior to the chat reporting being ruled out, there was just so much negativity around even the Caves and Clips update, like the fact that it was split into 3 updates, and the fact that not even then, not every feature made it into the game, and or at least not every quote-unquote promised feature made it into the game. And meanwhile, I see some of that's justified. I feel like the majority of it is just overblown. Though some of it concerns areas that I don't even have a horse in that race. And I feel like circling back to the previous topic about talking about the exploration is it's because this other point came up. There's this proposal, or there's this proposed change that to villagers that I think makes it so in order to get the different professions of villager, or I think it's for different enchantments, or you have to actually go to different biomes you have to create the villagers in a certain biome. And I personally am opposed to that, because it literally, I can see where some people say it adds more. It balances that aspect of the game, because just some people say that villager trading is OP. And I mean, I kind of agree on that, but I feel like it's necessary OP-ness, because it's just, especially the way I play this game, especially here on this server, especially with all my large projects I do, and especially since I run I have a shop where I'm selling enchanted books, I kind of need to have an easy way to get those. I just like the convenience of being able to just walk into a villager trading hall and just trade for whatever items I need. And I mean, I see why that kind of removes the random aspects of enchanting, like the whole you have to roll the enchanting table until you get the enchantment you want. But if looking at it from my perspective, especially if you're in the late game or the end game, where you want to do such things as make an entire shulker box of enchanted picks, so you don't have to constantly repair one pick as soon as it almost breaks. And just for the purposes of that, I much rather have the option of trading for my enchanted books instead of having to rely on enchanting table RNG to get them. And I just also find the ability to trade with villagers for certain blocks a big time saver, especially if I'm working on a project and I just happen to run out of I don't know, I just happen to run out of glass. And I really need glass to finish this project, and I really don't feel like going out to a desert biome and getting sand, mining sand, and then throwing it in my auto smelter to smelt it. And it's just more convenient, at least in that moment, to just trade. I just much rather trade it from a villager than having to actually go to a desert, mine it, and smelt it. And that's my play style. And it's just the beauty of this game to me is that how you can have a lot of different play styles in this game. Like I am based like I'm like there's the players like me who are all into redstone and farming, like building automated farms and using farms to get their resources. And then there's people who get all their resources from exploration and gathering and mining. And there's even there and it's even possible with the advent of shulker boxes and ender chests to even have nomadic play styles where you don't even have a base. Like you don't even have it's like if you have the ability to store 27 shulker boxes worth of items in your ender chest, then at least for some people that kind of eliminates the need for a permanent storage room. And it's just to me, it's I want to see this game have like supports all play styles. Like I don't want to see us like I don't I don't want the like aspects of the game to be done more in favor of one play style over another. Like I want to see the game. Like I want us redstoners to have the ability to get items via farming and automation, as just as equally as the non-redstone savvy crowd has the ability to just gather them from the world by venturing out in the world. And but it seems to me that Mojang are at least doing a good job of listening to their feedback. Like even though some people make it seem like they don't, I personally believe they do, because if they just didn't care about our feedback, we would have a lot of more changes. We'd have a lot more drastic changes made to the game than we do now. At least that's my personal take on that. And one perfect example of that is one of the most recent changes that the change that was done to the piston sounds. And well, the community didn't like that, and guess what? They reverted it back to the old sound. Crazy, I know. But I just have good faith that, I mean, I have my concerns too. Like I've watched some of the most recent like Minecraft Live videos, and like especially when it comes to announcements, the announcements lately, it just seems like it just if you're watch if like if I at least if I watch them, it just I can tell something's amiss. Like there's something that there's something that Mojang isn't might really telling us. Like there's just and like I'm not. I mean, I'm not like I'm personally not all that concerned, but it makes you wonder like what they're not telling us, and it's just like I don't really know. It's just I don't really know what else to say, but it's just it just makes you wonder what they're not telling us. But anyway, it's but but it's just controversy is just running rampant, especially right now, and it just seems that even my community that I am in, my very community of skate gaming, is not even that's not controversy. Even that's not free of controversy. Like I'm not gonna point anybody out. I'm not gonna point fingers at anybody, but it just seems like if I look at the Minecraft section of the Discord that pertains purely to Minecraft stuff, it just seems like Skate just seems to be like divided about like the direction that Minecraft is going. It's like some people hate it, some people like it, and some people seem to not really care anymore. And it just seems like the part that doesn't like it and doesn't care seems to be bigger than the part that likes it. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but that's just kind of what it seems like to me. And I feel like some of that might just be down to a lot of us just getting older, and a lot of us have just been playing Minecraft and have been exposed to Minecraft in some way or another for many years. And maybe some of us are just kind of, I don't want to say outgrowing, but just kind of Minecraft just doesn't really have the same it just doesn't quite have the same like excitement. Like we don't have the same excitement for Minecraft as we did like enjoy for Minecraft as we did when we first started playing this game. And me personally, even I kind of feel that to an extent, but I guess I just have enough projects ongoing, and there's enough new stuff being added that keeps me wanting to play more of this game. And even during the times where, even during in times in between updates, there's also modded. There's many different mod packs to play. And it's just I'm at a point where I just feel like I can confidently keep playing this game more or less no matter what happens. And like short of something really, really bad happening to Minecraft Java Edition, I don't think anything really short of something really bad, like some unthinkable thing happening that severely impacts the future of Minecraft Java Edition happens. I don't really see much of a need to even think about playing this game anytime soon. And I feel like even well into the future, well into the time where Java Minecraft isn't being updated anymore, when I'm a much older adult, I feel like I'm probably gonna still load up this game every now and again and play it. I mean, I might be playing a lot more other games, or I might even doing other things with my life than gaming, but I just feel like this game is gonna forever. I feel like I'm forever going to have an affinity to this game. And it's just, even though there's stuff like there's changes or new policies that Mojang are putting into place that I don't fully agree with, none of it is really bad enough to make me even think about quitting playing Minecraft. And just for the purposes of continuing to play this game that I've been enjoying for the past 10 years of my life, I'm more or less able to be at peace with those changes. I mean, as long as they don't personally affect my experience, I don't really mind a huge amount. I mean, I kind of do mind some of them, but it's like, as long as they don't directly impact me, I'm cool. And well, as it comes, and I guess as far as where I am now with Minecraft, I'm kind of largely still waiting on Midgard to update to 1.21, mostly because I want to make use of the new autocrafter in many of my builds. But I guess we're just gonna have to. I guess I'm still just gonna have to play a waiting game until the plugins that Midgard relies on get updated to that version. And but even in the meantime, I still have a lot of new projects planned. Like I just had an upgrade to my tree farm approved, which I am currently waiting on the next fly day to actually get working on that. And I also have have a few other builds I'm yet to submit, and or to submit to Farm Team, and maybe a few more additions to my base I've been planning but just haven't gotten around to yet. And And also that new end base that I may have brought up several months ago, but it's just kind of as my life is kind of it's just a few things in my life have kind of distracted me from that project. Though I do still intend to finish that project. Well, we'll get it built anyway. But it's just I have to finish the mock-up in creative mode, and I have to gather the materials, and I have to build it. And it's just as soon as I have time as soon as I am in a mood to set aside more time and to do that project, I'm going to get back to it. But just between Asgard and other things I've been up to on Midgard, I've just been kind of largely distracted from that project. But anyway, I feel like I've talked about all I really have to say in this video. And I mean, I guess there's more things I could bring up, but I don't want to make this video too long. And also, I didn't want to make my video too much resemble Mumbo's video because even though it's inspired by his video, I want this video to be catered, like, I want this to be genuinely in my style, my video making style, and based on my own thoughts. I'm not looking to copy anyone. I am just looking to I got inspired to make this by another YouTuber, and I just thought I'd kind of share my own thoughts. There's one thing I want to address that actually it's a thing that Mumbo didn't talk about in their video, and that is the inventory management problem, and also the bundles. And so kind of as more and more blocks have been added to this game, there's just been the growing problem of inventory management, which is basically, like, if you're doing a build that's making use of a large variety of the new blocks, it's become more of a problem that just your inventory just gets clogged with, like, a lot of different items. And whenever you're doing a build, you're just having to constantly switch between one item and another, and especially if you're having to use more items than can fit in your inventory, you may even have to bring a shulker box with you in order for the purposes of holding more items. But as far as the bundles, I kind of see it's definitely a good approach to the inventory management, especially for early game players, or I guess at least players that choose not to go to the end for some reason. And but I just personally feel like there's just some missed, like, potential with them. It's just kind of how they are currently. I kind of feel like it's too, it's like the amount of items that you can actually fit inside them is, like, maybe a little bit too limited. But But then again, like, I don't know. It's just I don't know how much, if I am to make a suggestion to improve bundles. Like, I don't know how to. I don't know what to say. Really, it just. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say make them hold more items, because I feel like if bundles are too, I don't want to say overpowered, but just like if bundles are, I feel like if bundles approach the usefulness of shulker boxes, it's just gonna make shulker boxes like there's gonna be less of a need. I feel like people are gonna use shulker boxes less and bundles more, and like less people are gonna feel the need to use shulker boxes. And I personally don't feel like that's necessarily a bad thing. But as we talked about with the whole feature creep concern, it does kind of, or at least the concern about balance, it does that would kind of affect the balance of the game. Like if the bundles are too powerful, that affects how powerful the shulkers are. Like if bundles could hold half the amount of items that a shulker box can, then there's going to be less of a point to have to bring shulker boxes. Or like then there'll even be less of a point to go to the end to get shulker boxes. And as far as the broader issue of inventory management, again, I just don't really know what improvement to suggest to the game without affecting the balance of the game. Because so the way I tackle the inventory management is I build item sorters, like redstone item sorters, and I literally just build a storage room in my base that has auto sorting capabilities, and I whenever I wanna start on a project, I just go in my storage room and get all the items I need. And then when I'm done with said project, I return to my storage room and then just dump all the items in the input chest, and then just let the sorter do the rest, do the work for me of sorting them into the right chests. Though that play style is, though I do acknowledge that that's not for everybody. Like not everybody is qualified to build redstone item sorters, and I guess for those people, there's mods that like the I forget what it's called, but it's like the modern equivalent of the old inventory tweaks mod. That's like it basically sorts items for you. And I've even seen some other new mods, like especially ones that like Aquena is actually using some inventory management mods. I forget what all they're called, but they're kind of definitely an interesting concept. And while they do kind of solve this, while they do help with inventory management, like I kind of see what, like there's like from my understanding, there's a subset of the Minecraft community that just doesn't really like to use mods, and I kind of get that, but it does mean, well, if you're not using mods and you're not a redstoner, then it's like you're kind of like, it's just, you kind of have to, it's like you're manually sorting your chests, and you're, I guess the shulker boxes are a pretty big help, but then again, you have to go to the end, which involves fighting the Ender Dragon, and going to the end islands, which, well, if you don't have an elytra, is it's gonna involve a lot of ender pearling and bridging across the void, and like pillaring up to get into an end city, if it's like not an end, if you can't get into the end city from the ground. But I've been playing this game basically in the end game phase for so long that I kind of tend to overlook things like this. Just because, well, I already have Elytra, and it's like, in order to get more shulker shells, it's just as easy as just flying to another end city. But to somebody who doesn't have an elytra, they have to go on foot to find an end city. But kind of with the advent of shulker farms, there's much less of a need to raid end cities for shulker shells. And, well, I personally feel that redstone item sorters and shulker boxes, and the different inventory management mods out there kind of more or less solve this problem. I do kind of understand they don't solve the problem for everybody, because not everybody is a redstoner or has desire to become a redstoner, and not everybody's brave enough to go out to an end city, and not everybody wants to learn how to install mods, or even wants to modify the game. They just want to play the game purely vanilla. So I don't really know what suggestion to make to, like, for something to add to the vanilla game to improve inventory management without hurting the balance of the game. So I guess I'm just gonna leave that one open to, like, if I don't get that many comments in my videos, but if anyone's going to comment, I'm gonna leave that open for discussion. Or maybe I might even ask that question to some of my other Skade friends and just kind of see what they say about it. So even though my video is really getting long at this point, there's just a couple more topics that Mumbo actually brought up that I actually can kind of somewhat relate to, at least kind of just in my history of playing Minecraft. He brings up, like, at least about, like, as far as the controversies of Minecraft go, some people believe that the elytra are overpowered, and I guess very similarly to Mumbo, I disagree, because It's because of the very way I personally play this game. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that I watch this video, but before making my video, but it's... I just the way I play this game, I do a lot of large builds. I do, I mean, even for just not vertically large builds where you're like really high off the ground, I just, like, even for, I mean, even just for building, even just for something like this, or like that portal room, or something like this room, or this room. Like, I just find it a lot easier. I mean, even though, like, even if it's, oh, like, you don't need use elytra, you can just, like, pillar up using blocks or with scaffolding, but it's just if I have to use, it's like, even though using the elytra consumes firework rockets and durability on the elytra, like just to do stuff like this, like just to get up to here, I have a creeper farm and a sugarcane farm, and I have multiple XP farms, so the elytra durability and the firework rockets are kind of like infinite resources for me at this point. And mob farms and sugarcane farms are actually not that hard for a more early game player to do. And really, once you've gotten an elytra and a mending villager, you're basically set. And but as far as the elytra being overpowered, I mean, I guess if you compare it to horses and minecarts and and other forms of travel, I guess except for ice boats, even though boats going on ice really fast was originally a glitch, but I guess Mojang decided to leave it in the game and let it be a feature. I mean, I guess I can understand where people come from, that pretty much every other method of transportation in Minecraft is basically blown away by the elytra. But I feel like it's a necessary overpoweredness, especially if it enables a player to do things that they previously couldn't do before. And even though I play on a server that gets fly days, like that gets creative fly days every at least, like even though I'm on a server that gets days of creative flights, like 12 days a year, excluding like other events that where we get fly as well. But if I for a moment pretend I'm not on a server like this and I'm just playing in a single player world, the elytra, like the ability to fly with the elytra, is basically is not only made my life easier, but it's even made things possible that without it would be, for all intents and purposes, impossible, such as building in the end. Like, well, my first end base I built on the old server, the old Little Kids server, where I basically had permanent fly, and I guess that kind of makes this point moot. But well, if I were building that base in on a server where I didn't have fly or in a single player world, I would be very, very happy I had the Elytra wings in that situation, because, well, without Elytra, you're gonna have to break out either the scaffolding or just place a ton of blocks for scaffolding, and literally make like just this spider web spaghetti monster of like floating dirt blocks in the sky, just to get like just to do this build, like in the end over the void. And it's just I could only imagine what building that kind of a build would be like without Elytra. And but even outside of cases like that, the Elytra is still very handy. Even though I have these my ice highways, or my ice roads in my base to get around, it's like I have multiple ways to get around in my base. I just find myself zipping around with the Elytra wings like that just very often, just because it's convenient. It's a convenient and very quick way to get around. Like literally even inside my base, this is literally how I get around most of the time. And I guess, and another point is, when I was back on the old when I was back on the old server days, this when I was on the Big Kids server, uh we were basically so when I first joined that server, it was basically in a derelict state where there's very few players on, and that the owner of both of that the person that owned both servers and was in charge of both of the servers was just spread so thin between all their duties on the Little Kids server, and like approving whitelist applications, and just everything that goes with running a community. It's just that, and also just due to the lack of staff, the lack of other staff on the Big Kids server, there was just very few. It's like, for a time, the owner was really the only person that was capable of lighting portals over there. Like of course, that server had a portal plugin, and it's very much the genesis of the portal plugin that kind of we use on Midgard today. But back in those days, a lot of us were kind of, it's like just kind of due to that whole situation, players would often be waiting like many weeks to even months just to have a portal lit. And it got so bad that I believe Abby one time even pitched this joke that they're gonna build this, I don't know, I think it was going to be like a 40,000 block long ice boat highway between their base and I think either spawn or I think it was maybe between their base and I think Atlantis at that time. Just it's like literally that because we couldn't get portals lit. This like obby just was very like for a time they were actually serious about that. They were going to build. They were seriously considering building that highway, but luckily within the next couple of months, Blue was able to get more of their attention, more of the owner's attention to that server, and we got more staff available there, and so which were allowed portals to be lit, and the need for such a ludicrously long ice boat highway was eliminated, but during that time I had become so reliant on the Elytra for getting around that it's like basically like pretty much like just to get from my base to my friend's bases at the time, which I believe at that time would have been Lucario, or they would have been known as Colgutton back then, and Aquena's base, uh, and also during the many times that Lucario would go out exploring and get themselves stranded in different places, and like I literally would fly to where they're at. I would just I just take off with the Elytra and just fly to really high altitude, and then just basically glide for like tens of thousands of blocks to actually get to their location. And it's just I basically had become the Elytra had just well the point I'm trying to get at is during that time just the Elytra wings have just been so instrumental to my life on that server. It's just that if I would basically be I think I would be lost without Elytra. I wouldn't be able to do anything without Elytra. And even today, even with a reliable portal network and staff and staff members to light new portals whenever we need new portals. I still use the Elytra a lot to get around because I guess partly because the predicament I was in on that old server got me in the habit of zipping around with the Elytra wings like I do, but it's they become such an integral part of my playstyle now that's like it's like if I were to start a new Minecraft world or join a new server, literally getting Elytra wings and setting up the infrastructure required to get infinite firework rockets is basically one of my first goals that I set for myself. Because like once I get Elytra and unlimited firework rockets, it's like that basically opens up like that basically opens the door to doing really any kind of project I could ever conceive. And this has become quite the tangent, but my point is the Elytra is just it's a necessary overpoweredness in my eyes. And well, if you think if you don't and if you don't want to use the elytra because you think it's overpowered, well then don't use it. I don't mean to be I don't mean to be snarky like that, but that's just where I stand on this topic. But one more thing one more thing I want to address before I end this, and that is the combat debacle. And this is probably one of the oldest controversies in the book. And like one of my early I think one of my oldest videos on my channel was literally me going to the mob arena on the old Little Kid server, and literally just ranting about my perspective on the combat update. Well, the combat update literally while I'm fighting in the mob arena. And it basically just boils down to I'm not a PvP master. I am far from that. And PvP, this is not my thing, though I do spend enough time in playing survival Minecraft that I do have to do a lot of PvE, or player versus environment. And at least in that sense, at this point, I basically mastered the 1.9 combat a long time ago. My first experience with the combat, the 1.9 combat, was when I was playing on a server, a private survival server that Nin was actually hosting. Way back in the days of me playing on the Little Kid server. And basically it's like Nin or Ninjago, they were known as at the time, where they were just hosting this little survival server that just to kind of give me, and I think me and Mod Killer, just really my very close circle of friends, just the opportunity to play in the newer updates. Because even though we were breaking the rules, there was really no other options for us to play in the new updates back in those days. There was no there was no Vanaheim kind of server back in those days. At least the owner of that community never provided us with a Vanaheim kind of server, to kind of test out different snapshots, to host snapshots that would to kind of get to kind of the owner of that community never provided us with a Vanaheim kind of server to give us the opportunity to play in the snapshots together. So we basically, all we had to do, really our best shot at doing that was just breaking the rules and just trying our best to get away with that. And for the most part we did, but I guess we just used code words that I guess the admins weren't necessarily looking for if we had to communicate in chat that we're going to our server. And I guess we for the most part talked about it in our own our own private Skype and Discord chats. And so really my first experience with the 1.9 combat was on that server, and while it was jarring for me at first, with some time of playing on that server, I think I was able to acclimate to it, and I think by the time that the Little Kids server had updated to 1.9, I feel like by that point I have more or less gotten used to the 1.9 combats. And it's like, well, many people hated it. It's because I was never I was never a PvP person. Kind of I just got used to it and just moved on. And whenever I do participate in PvP, it's going to be with the 1.9 combat, and I am totally cool with just mastering that combat system until Mojang changes the combat again. But if they change the combat again, I really I'm just really hoping that they I'm just really hoping that they do that they make sure it's not going to have too big of an impact on the community. Though my biggest fear with that is if the combat changes again, is it's just gonna make the whole problem worse. Like how we currently have 1.8 combat players and 1.9 combat players. My fear is that if the combat is changed again, we're gonna have 1.8 combat players, 1.9 combat players, and then whatever the next combat update's going to be, we're gonna have combat players for that. It's just the two-way split in the community is just gonna become a three-way split. And well, I mean, as much as I hope that's not gonna happen, well, it's probably, I guess, going to be inevitable, because it's just with the size of the Minecraft community, there's just bound to be minority groups of players that would despise another combat update. And it's just, I feel like the only way to quote unquote solve this problem is just don't change the combats, or add a game rule to change the combat to whatever you prefer. And I feel like that's the main thing that people criticize Mojang for, is that they never added a game rule to actually select between if spam clicking is enabled or the cooldown is enabled. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Mojang's reasoning for not adding it, but I'm sure they had their reasons. But but then again, it just seems like it wouldn't be too hard to add that. Like I feel like that would solve the problem, and it's just what any servers that want to have the 1.8 combat will just disable the cooldown, and servers that want the 1.9 combat will leave the cooldown enabled. But I guess we're just stuck with this problem, and we're just gonna have Hypixel and other servers like it that are just gonna be stuck running 1.8 for the sake of keeping that older combat system in place. Though as far as my personal opinion, I don't really personally care either way, though I would prefer to stick to what is the current combat system right now, just because I've been playing survival Minecraft and the current versions of Minecraft for so long that going back to 1.8 combat would just be what would be jarring for me again, and I'd have to get used to another combat system again. And just being autistic, I just rather not have change. And if Mojang is going to change the combat again, I just hope that they weigh the consequences before they do so, and they listen to feedback. But given how they handled previous changes, my expectations are my expectations are I'm decently confident that they will listen to feedback, just based on how they handled previous changes. But I guess that's my view. That's my view on that. And anyway.